continue with our first customer presentation from TRUMPF. TRUMPF was founded in 1923, so 102 years old. The headquarter is in Ditzingen, close to Stuttgart. They are global technology leaders. They're famous for their laser cutting machines, for welding, for punching, so very traditional stuff. What many people do not know is that they're also one of the most important players worldwide in the area of quantum computing, hardware for quantum computing. Getting a tour of TRUMPF and see how they do research and how they develop that was a real highlight for me in the last year, and it also showed me that despite all the bad talk we sometimes have in Germany about our technology leaders, this is clearly a global market leader with excellent technology. So TRUMPF started their SPM journey and working with us in 2022, and we did various project phases in demand management, project portfolio management, and other areas. Today we have here Oliver Fundanovic. He is ServiceNow manager, or the service manager, ServiceNow, and IT account manager, and Marcel Staiger, process owner, ServiceNow for strategic portfolio management and IT PMO consultant. And they will talk about resource management. Oliver, Marcel, over to you.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So I will share my screen. So I guess you can see something, right? Yeah. So perfect. So thank you, Andreas, once again. And so hi, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. We are very happy to be here. And also many thanks to PlanHorizon for the invitation. And yes, as Andreas already said, we are going to present you the SPM module at TRUMPF, and let's say share you our journey within this module. Let us just quickly introduce ourselves, even if Andreas already did. My name is Olli, and I have been working at TRUMPF for almost 5 years, including my time as a student. And I have also been involved since the introduction of the SPM module at TRUMPF. And I'm currently working as IT account manager, and in a dual role, I also work as a service manager for SPM module, which means that I have the overall responsibility for the module, and at the same time, I'm also the process owner for the demand management. And with that, I will hand over to Marcel for a quick introduction.
Thank you, Oliver. Also, warm welcome from my side. So I am Marcel, and I'm working for TRUMPF also since 2021. So basically, I have 2 roles. On the one side, as you can see, I mainly serve as a process owner for our project portfolio and capacity management in ServiceNow. And on the other side, I'm also delighted to be now a IT project manager. So I'm also the customer of my own process, which is really cool. And yeah, we're still learning a lot. So thank you all, and back to you, Olli.
Thank you, Marcel. About the agenda, we will start with a short introduction of the company, and after that, we'll give you an overview of the SPM module and our journey. Then we'll go into the resource management, where Marcel will give you or make a deep dive into this topic. I think it's a very important topic at the moment, maybe also for you, but at least for us. And yeah, this will be, let's say, the main focus of our presentation. So about TRUMPF, as Andreas already said, TRUMPF is a leading German company specialized in machine tools and laser technologies for industrial manufacturing. The machine tools division provides advanced systems, including cutting, bending, and punching solutions. And the laser technology division develops actually high-performance lasers and smart factory solutions which are used for cutting, welding, marking, and also microprocessing. And in the laser systems or the semiconductor lithography segment, TRUMPF supplies lasers and also technologies which are essential for producing next generation microchips. And for you as a reference, for example, 90% of the world's iPhone chips were produced with help of our lasers. So about the SPM module, we actually started more than 4 years ago with implementation of the demand management. 2 years later, we implemented the project portfolio management, and this year, around about 6 months ago, we also implemented a resource management in ServiceNow. And our main focus during the first years of using the module was actually the continuous evaluation and enhancement of the module in order to align the tool with our processes. And we also concentrate ourselves on reporting and monitoring in order to give our stakeholders better insights about demands and also over the projects over the whole time. And I would say that especially the enhancements and also the continuous evaluation of the module allowed us to build like end-to-end process within ServiceNow, which means that from submitting ideas at the beginning till the implementation at the end of the project or project portfolio module, we are doing all this stuff like in ServiceNow. So after many years, now we have completed the end-to-end process, or also implemented the end-to-end process in ServiceNow. And I have one more important thing about our SPM module, which I would say it was the major milestone on our journey. And this topic came actually 1 year ago, because we realized that our module is getting bigger and larger. So we needed also governance. We needed a clear responsibilities for the module, but not only for the module, we also needed for the sub-module and processes. And the main change was that we introduced new roles and established a governance structures, which means in the end that we defined the responsibilities at the process level, module level, and also the platform level, so that you have clear roles and persons which can take or make decision at each level. And this actually helped us a lot in order to manage and also steer the module, and also steer the module much more efficiently. And what we have also done was developing a long-term strategy. This roadmap, let's say, defines where we want to be in 1 year, or where should we be in 1 year, in 2 years, and also in 5 years. And it provides us clear guidelines and also clear direction for the module. And in this case, same as for governance, we applied this on the process level, which means on the submodule level, but also at overall SPM module level. And with that, I will hand over to Marcel for capacity management.
Perfect. Thank you, Oliver. So let's move on to the element that really has been a game changer for us this year. So basically the resource management in ServiceNow. We went live with the module on July 1st, and with that, we have closed our last major gap for a truly end-to-end process in ServiceNow, from the initial idea through the project portfolio, all the way into the operations and ending it up with resource management. So as you can see, ServiceNow is our strategic platform at TRUMPF for the entire IT service management and project portfolio management. Over the last few years, we have built the setup step by step. With ITSM, we established a global IT standard for incident, problem, and change processes, including full transparency on SLAs, tickets, and services. With demand management, we created a transparent, tool-supported demand process. All relevant information on effort, resources, and costs is captured early and then handed over into the project world. With PPM in ServiceNow, we built a single point of truth for our project portfolio, we lean and fast processes around budget reporting, project status, quality gates, and for example, also change requests. And here, the last major milestone was the integration of the capacity management. So why is that so important for us? So only with resource management, we can really answer the question, do we actually have the right people available at the right time? The module basically makes our process truly end-to-end. We collect ideas, we assess and prioritize demands, we steer projects, and now we can centrally plan capacity and workload in ServiceNow. This means we avoid media breaks, improve data quality, and finally have a consistent view on value contribution and resource usage in one tool. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at what we are actually focusing on in capacity management. There are 4 key working areas that we cover with ServiceNow. First, effort tracking. We didn't just want to plan, we wanted to understand what actually happened. That's why teams provide structured feedback on hours worked and activities in the system. This gives us basically a solid basis for utilization and workload analysis, lessons learned for future planning, and discussions with business stakeholders and management. Secondly, the capacity tracking. In the past, we had resource requests, we had Excel sheets, SharePoints, emails, and individual tools. And today, the resource requests and availability checks are handled centrally in ServiceNow. Our account managers, project managers, and service owner enter their resource needs. The resource managers and team leads check the availability and prioritize. And all of this is integrated into our overall SPM process. Coming to the third topic, the cost allocation. For our commercial and controlling processes, we export all necessary data from ServiceNow. So we are not breaking existing controlling processes. Basically, we are just feeding them with better and more consistent data directly from our system. And lastly, the reporting for our project portfolio management, for our service owners, and for our IT management. By considering the data in ServiceNow, we can generate portfolio reports, we can generate capacity reports, service reports, all directly from the tool. And this, for us, is an important step towards having one data source instead of many isolated solutions. So how does the process look in practice from the first idea to the recording of actual work? So for us, it all starts with the demand. The account manager or the business stakeholder create a new demand, provide together with the IT architect a first rough monthly resource estimation. This is not meant to be precise to the hour, but it gives you or us especially an early feeling for the magnitude of the need. Then our capacity comes into the play. Our resource or team managers check the availability of the required roles and peoples in ServiceNow. We can also include external resources, for example, with vendor attributes and pooled workstations for capacities that are not ordered individually. Our global IT employees at the moment have to maintain their availability in the system, including absences. That makes it for us very easy to see where do we have bottlenecks and where do we still have room for projects, for improvements, for innovation. During the project lifecycle, then the project managers take over. They refine the planning, adjust capacities when scope or time changes, and keep the planning up to date throughout the entire life cycle. And finally, we can now close the loop with the feedback on the actuals. So the employees report the actual hours on project basis, on service basis, on operational task basis directly in the system. And with this way, we can close for us the circle end to end from the initial estimate through detailed planning all the way to the actual effort entirely within ServiceNow and fully embedded into our SPM process. To close, I would like to show you what kind of effort went into this topic and what we have already achieved. The journey for us was long and intense. The project ran for about 18 months in total. more than 500 objects were migrated from the previous landscape, along with around 2,600 resource assignments that we have successfully brought into ServiceNow. We have also trained more than 100 key roles, from project managers to service owners and to the resource managers. And today we have around 650 active objects in our system that are using the resource assignments. For example, demands, projects, as well as services, and small projects that we call work orders. In total, we currently have around 4,500 active resource assignments in our system. And in our 12 open door sessions with our employees, we collected questions, gathered feedback, and refined the system together with our users directly in the hypercare. Altogether, we are talking today about roughly 450 resources in TRUMPF IT in around 47 resource teams that are now working in the system, but with different levels of intensity. Coming to my last point, during the hypercare phase, we focused especially on 3 hot topics for us that we have now been able to resolve together with the help of PlanHorizon and ServiceNow to also increase the maturity of this module. Since go live, we have handled around 80 tickets, which also helped us to further stabilize and optimize the system. Taking together these numbers that show us it's been a long and sometimes also challenging journey, but today we have a powerful resource management process in ServiceNow, which actually allows us to manage our portfolio not only by content and budget, but also consistently by capacity and feasibility. And in my opinion, this is for us a key to making IT value contribution to TRUMPF more transparent and easier to steer in the future. Perfect. So basically, we are at the end of our project, of our presentation, and we are looking forward to your questions.
Yes, Oliver, Marcel, thank you very much. Great presentation. And yeah, as you said, it was a longer project. There were some things to fix. We got great support from the SPM business unit. Everything works well now, so that shows that you were really at the frontier of the new resource assignment functionality. But the good news for everyone else who's interested in that is that there is now a good case. The functionality works well. We do have a couple of questions here. Let's see if there's some more. Yeah, let's see here. That is a good one from an anonymous attendee in German, so I have to translate. How did you convince your management to use resource management with ServiceNow?
That's actually a really good question. So right before the project, we already had resource management, so tracking the actual hours per hour in IT, but not in ServiceNow. We basically had it in SAP. And for us, it was quite challenging, especially at the moment in those difficult economical times, to also convince them. And maybe one argument that was, how can I say, convincing, was that we as an IT, we want to be an innovation driver. We want to have full transparency along our resources. We want to be globally, or have a global transparency. Where we have bottlenecks, where we don't have bottlenecks, because this all allows us, and especially the business, or more precisely to utilize, to maximize our effort for the business, to have, for example, more projects that we can steer now in one fiscal year, because we now basically have the transparency over our resources.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe also additionally to this point, it was also, let's say, enablement for us, because we were then able to make our reports or reporting our dashboards in capacity management or from capacity management in one one tool, in one platform, and it helped us a lot in monitoring and also to get the transparency by our own. So it was very, let's say, beneficial for us also at this point.
Great. Another question from the audience. Great presentation. Do you plan to expand strategic portfolio management in your business into your business areas?
Well, I think there is a a lot of discussions about this topic. We are Marcel and myself are discussing it, I think, on weekly base. There are no concrete plan, let's say, or we didn't already set milestones for this topic, but I will say that we are thinking about it, and I think that at the point when we reach a certain maturity level in SPM, in the IT, first after that we will be able to scale into the business, I would say. I don't know, Marcel, if you have any additional points on this, but I think this is our actual state about this topic, or on this topic.
Yeah, so thank you, Oliver. So honestly, I would love to expand it into the business because I mean it's a great module. It's really, really cool. And in the last discussions that we had with our management, and especially in our organization, so we are divided by business departments and by central departments, and each business department has its own solutions and also software tools in place. And the discussions are always the same. So project management, we would like to stick to our own solution, but resource management is really interesting now. So this could be for us, for example, a starting point.
Very interesting. Another question from the audience related to the last question, really. The resources you manage, are they exclusively in IT or are they partially IT, partially business?
I would say 90% fully IT, because in our global IT, so in our regional IT centers in Americas, in Asia, and in Europe, we have employees that are actually both. So they are a business consultant and an IT consultant. And so it's mainly just IT, but let's say there's like 5 to 10% also like a divided resource.
Two more maybe. We have 3 minutes left until the bio break. What level of organizational change management was necessary in terms of changing roles, responsibilities, overcoming resistances, etc.?
So from my side, probably this was the biggest challenge that we were facing. So from our side, from the governance department, and our expectations was quite clear. We wanted to implement the standard of ServiceNow. So we didn't want to customize anything, and therefore we had to convince our organization to adjust those processes. And luckily, at the moment, we are already moving in some kind of a service orientation. So therefore, many roles have already been in place in some departments. Yeah. Or maybe Ollie, do you want to add something?
Yeah, we had to consolidate all these roles that we already had and just adapt the structure to the capacity management. But what I also wanted to add is actually the governance that I mentioned before. From my point of view, at some point in time, we realized that the module is getting bigger and bigger. And what we have done is actually also we made a clear governance within the module. Like we defined clear roles. We also create roles which will be the decision makers, because if your module is getting bigger and bigger, you have to have these roles. Otherwise, you will not be able to steer it. And beside the organizational part and the structure, I also will focus also on the organization within the module. Because if you implement one module or one module and the next one and the next one, you will come to the point where you will not be able to make let's say good decisions on the further development of the module.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. Last question from me. You saw Sakadeep's presentation. So what do you think about the use of agentic AI? Well, or to phrase the question in a different way, let's do something next year with AI.
So we have internally we have a lot of discussions. We also have some plans for this topic. We also started like I think 2 months ago to think about a potential use case that could be beneficial for us. And now we are at the point where we already talked to you, to PlanHorizon, and also to ServiceNow, to make let's say a roadmap for us where we want to develop, or in which direction do we want to develop our module. And this is, I would say, at the moment, maybe one of the most important topic that we have at SPM, because we implemented 3 modules. We reached a certain maturity level in this module, and I think in the next step you have to check what requirements are needed in order to implement AI. And this is the point where we are at the moment. We are checking the system, we are checking our data, we are checking the potential use cases, just to make sure what is the right way to implement AI in SPM. But it's definitely a topic, and it's, as I already said, the main focus now for us, if you look into the future, is this one.
Great. Thanks again for presenting this. I think this is a model project. Thanks for working with us and being such a great project team.